All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. It's Lucid. Sorry for the delay. I've been really busy getting hitched, which is exciting news. And, got the game underway. So it's balancing a lot. Oh, we're also, the tournament running too. We just had round 2 start. So I got to make the maps for that. Probably need to make those today. I made a draft, but anyway. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and pick this up. I've got another game I want to show you from round 1. I've got all the turns saved from it. I have another game after that I could show, or maybe I'll just put the turns up if y'all want to look at it. But yeah, we'll get through this here. So also I need to explain why I stopped recording this too. I left you guys hanging for like a month. And the reason is rather straightforward. I recorded this whole series and then something with the videos was all corrupted and like the sound was all messed up. So I swear audio issues when you're doing YouTube are like the worst thing. You think like, because you talk on your phone all the time, you think, hey, there's not going to be any issue with audio. I'm just talking on my phone. That's not how it is at all. Like for some reason, phone audio is super easy, but as soon as you want to record it and put it online, it becomes difficult. Okay, so let's get to it. We were picking up, so what's happened? There's 2 wars going on. We have Vanheim fighting Mekone, and that looks like Mekone's kind of toast. Mekone did not choose to ride out and defend their capital. And and so Vanheim's going to probably eat them pretty shortly here. But then we have another war between Heim and Niefelheim. And we have Musphelheim, which has been kind of on the fence, but as we see here, they're starting to attack Niefelheim, it looks like. The feud between the frost giants and the cold giants. So let's pick up with this. We'll look at whatever's happening here in Mekone first, and there's not too much going on. Okay, here we go. So yeah, just one raid. But if we look over here, he has consolidated the main force, and this is just a bunch of stuff. One thing I think that's good to point out is when you play Vanheim, we've seen an interesting mix. He's using mounted herdmen, which is great because those are really good raiders. But then we're also seeing him bulk up the main force with like barbs and basically a bunch of garbage. And that's so that he can siege this reasonably quickly. So that makes a ton of sense. But a lot of times if you have these super killy sacreds and you feel very confident you can win your first war cleanly, it can be good to go ahead and buy a lot of indie troops to help you siege through stuff faster, which is what they've done. I believe in part. Oh, maybe there's just indies. The Atlantean militia? No, he's got these are indies, and he's also got Huskarls. So that's that. Now let's see what we'll take a look at the vulturing here. Was there vulturing happening? Not really. Mekone takes this back, or takes this from Musphelheim. That's a bit strange. Has Musphelheim, maybe they vultured just like one province? I don't even know. That's a bit strange. No, they attacked here too. So yeah, they attacked here. And for context too, Musphelheim just lost a ton of stuff at taking this throne. And this was stuff they really needed to like assert power in this region, which it's looking like is going to be Vanheim very, very soon. And it's not going to be like a bled out Vanheim from a really hard fought first war. It's going to be like a hyped up, powered up Vanheim where all his shit's already in this corner. So you're going to have to fight it. So it's going to be really tough. Now, there's not too much to see here. Coming up, though, we'll take a look. Niefelheim is riding out and re-raiding, and he's using small little raiding squads of a few. This is the Prophet with some Niffel giants, and then small little raiding squads, in this case, 2 Niffel Jarls and 4 Niffel giants. And I know I talked with Latch a little bit, he manages to catch a Van Jarl here. But I talked with Latch a little bit, and for these big battles, apparently what really matters is critical mass of these giants. They make a lot of this cold aura, and basically you have to kill them if you don't have cold resistance before the cold aura puts you to sleep. Because once you're asleep, you're dead. And the more frost giants you have, the more cold aura. Though the way that's been reworked in Dominion 6, the cold aura is capped. So like normally, if you think about it, the cold aura would like build up into this big peak, and you would be like frozen almost instantly if you were next to these Niffel giants. Now they capped the peak, so it can only go this high, but then it spreads far out. So that's sort of how that works. Was it this guy? I don't think this guy was... Yeah, no gear. And... Yeah, otherwise not a lot of action this turn, just these guys moving around here. So, and we don't have too many messages, so I think we're just going to go ahead and go to the next turn. We're going to keep these episodes hopping. We're going to keep moving pretty quick. All right, turn 27 coming up. Okay, here we go. Turn 27. So, a bunch more action. We've got... this is some very hot bird-on-bird action. Let's look at this. We've got Musphelheim attacking... They're both... I've never seen this before. Is it just that his birds are better? Oh, he has a little bit more. But if there was PD here, would that have... I don't even know. Okay. These guys take out these dudes. Yeah. I mean, Muspel Giants, they're not going to have any... I bet you they didn't even lose like 15 HP on any of them. Attacking here. These guys with some barbs and a few Gigante Hoplites attack there. So, yeah. I didn't check. I don't think the fort was popped. Maybe I did check. More raiding here. And here. And Mekone pinged out. This is good. This is one thing I like to see in somebody who's in a very dire situation, pinned in their camp. They're going to poke a little guy out. They want to see what they're going to have to fight, which I like. So this scout stuck his head out of the fort walls, took a look around, decided, I've got shit running down the back of my britches. Oh no, he didn't run. No, this is a brave lad. So, yeah, that's why the shit your pants and run instinct is a strong one. You don't want to stay and fight in these sort of situations. You want to get the hell out of there. So, yeah, this is going to be way easier to fight behind a fort wall. But there was a chance to fight them where you had a chance, maybe with an enormous PD dump or something else, to maybe defeat them in detail. If they'd done a defense. It would have been very hard to do, but maybe possible. Now the only hope is maybe you can clog up the gate with some things that are really tough. Like maybe 3 or 4 Elder Cyclops, like pulled up at the gate, could hold it. But the problem is we can take a look, but there's going to be flying Van Jarl thugs that are going to be trying to kill your shit from behind. It's not going to be easy. Like, yeah, look at these guys. This is an Elder Cyclopses are like protection tanks. So these great swords of sharpness, you know, good luck. You can protection. I mean, you can super combatant these with, in some ways, sorts of protection tank sort of things, but you need a ton of HP regen. You need other kinds of mitigating factors. And usually you need to be really killy so that you're not sitting there with them hitting you for super long. You're like blendering stuff around you and hopefully blendering them. Anyhow. Yeah. Looking a little rough. But so this is good. Musphelheim has put this under siege. He's taken this. Musphelheim's doing pretty good in the score graphs, right? They're tied for biggest, but they're not doing, I don't think, very well in the army graphs. Well, they're okay. I guess they're third position. Look at Mekone. They had so much stuff. I mean, I guess it was garbage, but still, you know, army graphs still matter. Okay, over in this land, let's go see what happened. So, oh god, 70 Valkyries. That's crazy. And these guys have wild map move. 26. These guys, they're almost teleporting around. They have so much mobility. Oh, okay, big battle. Here we go. Buckle up. Buckle up, Buttercup. On this side, we have about 20 Jade Maidens. We have about 40, 35, maybe 30, probably 30 Valkyries. Doesn't look like much. Just a humble light lance and a chassis with glamour that can fly. It's also stealthy. You think, oh, it's not that good. But well, it's got 17 defense. Maybe it's good. But then they bless them. Now they have unholy weapons and slowing weapons. And now they're pretty fucking spooky. So, there's something you may notice in this battle. This is not snow. No, it's not snow. The Nipple Giants You don't want to take this fight out of snow. Now, why does this matter? Are these guys protection tanks? Yeah, a bit, but much more in snow. Are they defense tanks? Yeah, but much more in snow. They need. This is the thing. Is like these guys fighting Valkyries is very swingy. Like very swingy. They get a few buffs, they get a few things painted on them. All of a sudden they're gonna win. And like win decisively. They take some debuffs, you know, like they lose the cold defense bonus. They gain a heat malice for defense. The attack bonus goes away. The attack bonus doesn't really matter because it's really a question of can you survive long enough till these guys freeze. But you lose that, 3 or 4 protection. Matters a lot. This was ballsy. This is kind of a weird thing of when you're playing Niefelheim, is a lot of times, and Musphelheim's less so. Like Musphelheim gets heat power, but they don't have the heat armor or whatever, right? So they can fight outside of their dominion a bit easier. But you're really playing a dominion war when you're playing with Niefelheim. Like places that have your dominion are much easier for you to fight in very often. What is the other thing you're noticing? Take a look at this formation. Does this look like a solid block of units ready for flyers? What does it look like? It looks like Swiss fucking cheese. Let's take a look at that. Let's inspect some stats here. Slowed, limp. When you're giants, you tend to get hit in the ankles a lot. This guy, not slowed. Now, we'll take a look at the slow effect. Slowed. Slowed. Not slowed. But these slowed guys also have weakened attack. So your chance of hitting these is actually pretty low. Yeah. It's not a very high chance to hit. And then you've got to get past glamour as well. So, yeah. Are all these guys slowed? This guy looks slowed. 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 That's a lot of slowed. Okay, let's throw up the round number. We're on round 6. How are these guys doing on fatigue? 20 fatigue. It's going to be a long time until they fatigue out. This is the thing. When you're fighting from the back foot, which Niefelheim definitely is. I think they got vultured, I think, a little bit by Musphelheim too. Or no, they didn't. Anyway, when you're fighting from the back foot, do you ride out? Are you trying to be aggressive? No. You live or die in desperate situations by your armies. Your armies are your main source of power. The lands are needed to sustain and grow your armies, yeah, for sure. But it's like a question of subordination and priority. And if you're really big and rich and on the winning side, like you're crushing somebody, it's like, well, you have to go out and attack. And you also have to risk armies, I mean, you're always going to have to risk armies. But basically, the more desperate your position is, the harder it is to replace armies. And the better your position is, the easier it is to replace. So by that logic, you really don't want to throw away armies when you're in a dire situation, which Niefelheim is. And they chose to ride out here and attack into the heat. And I don't know how these guys predicted it, but they did. I mean, I guess there weren't a ton of moves. I think they were here the turn before, so they could have gone here or here. This would have been just a clearly superior move, I think. Except you would sort of be trapped because you can't get across this mountain unless you have mountain survival. Which I don't think Niflheim has. Would actually not be a horrible thing to pick up in a bless. But yeah. It's you don't want to ride out with when you're in this desperate position, you really don't want to ride out in the heat, like in a very disadvantageous position. Like, what are you potentially going to gain? An air gem a turn and 75 gold? We're risking losing everything for that? So that's really bad. That was a really important stack of Nifl Giants, and I think this loss means, well, it's really bad. I think it means there was a fort that was going up here. This fort's now toast. I don't think there's anything Niflheim can do to defend it. So you think about, what did this cost? It cost this fort. It cost this high income province, which you actually do care about. Getting this infrastructure up also helps. You know, we were talking, this war against Niflheim has a lot to do with Dominion. And there's only one candle here. There's a little bit of Niflheim Dominion over here, but you get this fort built, you put a temple in it, you start projecting your Dominion in this region. That's a way to start shifting the balance of power, slowly grind your way out of this war, start making more mages. It's going to be hard to do now. It's going to be real hard. The other thing I think Niflheim should have been doing at this point, they have a bunch of death income. They should have been making long dead skeletons. Versus these sacreds, which really don't want to be... Like, if you think about it, let's take a look at these sacreds again. Okay. These guys. They're not protection tanks, they're defense tanks. Defense tanks get harassed really badly. Most of their mitigation for, like, survival kind of relies on killing things that are sacred. You know, fair. Or slowing shit. Right, which is going to reduce the killiness, and therefore this is, like, in some ways a defensive tool, this slowness thing. The problem is, if you're outnumbered, you can't slow everybody. You're only going to slow one guy. And their attack's not crazy, so, like, skeletons will just straight up dodge this attack sometimes. So, you basically, like, if you have Swiss cheese that these guys are jumping into, be a lot better, you know? Anyway, basically, I think the way to look at this, I think if you're the Niflheim player, the way to think about this is you want to do some of the raiding, counter-raiding game where you have to split up your forces. But your goal in this is to kill the Vanheim raiders, even more than it is to, like, take and control territory. And more importantly, to draw out a fight from, did I say Vanheim? The Helheim. You want to draw out a Helheim army, take them to battle and win. That has to be the goal. And that's another reason why they should divert off. Because if you ride off like that, like, you're not going to take your decisive fight riding out into the heat as Niflheim into this fucking bless. It's just not going to happen. Like, that's not in the menu. So, anyway. But that's that. So they raid over here successfully. They raid here successfully. Otherwise, I mean, they're doing a good job controlling their core territory, but they just basically kick themselves out of the game. So I think that's basically it. Musphelheim's on the fence. Musphelheim needs to go attack Niflheim now. It's over. Niflheim's toast. They're tostados. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go to the next turn, and then we'll probably call it for this episode. So we're going to go see you in turn 28. Hey guys, welcome back. Turn 28. We have it. Oh wait, this is the wrong game. This looks much more correct. This is the right turn 28. Okay, so... Message from Helheim. I was ready for the clash this time. Had to script 2 different battles depending on if I won the clash or not. But had plenty of Valkyries for both provinces. And it's not like the script is complicated. Now time to wrap up this before Chris wins the game. Fair enough. Okay. Vanheim takes this with the hearse. See what I'm actually kind of interested in how he scripted this, because hearses are kind of interesting to do very light rating with. Blessing, personal mist form, personal luck, shroud of bewilderment. Okay. Van Herse. Or not Van Herse. Nifl Giants kill this guy. Well, let's do the Mekone thing first. So he raids this from Mekone. Mekone attacks with barbs here. It's just light raiding. Okay. So there's not too much to say over here. Yeah, Mekone's pretty toast. The fort is still not yet popped. 600 wall integrity is quite a lot, especially for early age. But it should be popped this turn. He's making glow saws. Glow saws? Glow saws? I don't know how to say it. But anyway, big fiery pigs is what he's making here. He's making some hogs. All right. Oh, this fort did finish. Actually, you sort of wish it wouldn't, because this is going to go immediately now to Helheim. They have flying guys. Fort walls don't bother them at all. It's like, gee, thanks for the fort in the lab. In the fire site. Musphelheim moving in with a ton of guys here. So now they're fighting in the cold, which makes them kind of shit. Niefelheim is a lot better in the cold than they are, if that's any surprise to you. The stat swing is huge, reminding you they're blessed. Air shield, cold resistance, which is important. Defense skill, reinvigoration, spirit sight larger, and awareness. So I think they have a couple moves that are, I mean, there's a lot of interesting moves. They could probably 2-move back to here. Maybe not. I can't remember how fast these guys are, but giants usually are pretty quick. So they could maybe move here. They could probably go on top of this fort. This is the move I would expect. And I think this is such a likely move that it potentially gives Niefelheim the opportunity to like predict it and move everything here and maybe hold. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then they could also raid in either of these provinces. This would, I don't know if he knows that there's a lot of magic sites here, but you know, that could be fun. So yeah, I think that's basically it for this turn. I think what we have to let's talk about what we have to look forward to. They're going to put this fort under siege. We're going to get to hopefully see a cool battle here. Also, potentially, you know, not really. I was going to say, like, Niefelheim could try to rally everything here, but this is too much stuff. If I were Niefelheim and I thought I had a chance, I might test or something, like if I could rally here. But there's just no way. You're just going to hard up lose here. There's a chance you might be able to kill the Muspel giants in cold. It's going to be dicey, though. And I don't think there's enough Niffle giants. These guys would definitely be needed. I think that's another problem, like, just when you think about army movement. Moving this guy up here, like, yeah, you took this territory, but at what cost? Like, in some ways you moved him up here, but you now gave this up. Right? Like, because maybe if this guy were down here in the capital, you could move over here, move and patrol, win a fight. These are the way you turn these bad positions around, is finding little things where you think somebody's going to move somewhere, going all in and taking a W. But sometimes that also means you take a loss and then you're out of the game. So that's that. So in summary, next episode, we should get to see the storming of Mekone. There's still a big army bottled up in here. We've seen several kind of medium-sized battles with Mekone, but I don't feel like we've really seen the major ride out yet. So hopefully we still have the biggest war to come, or the biggest battle to come in the Mekone-Vanheim conflict. We're going to get to see, hopefully, this fort fall to Musphelheim soon, and we're going to maybe see a conflict break out between these two. And we might get to see, we're going to see what Niefelheim does. I would say they're beyond just on the back foot now. They're in very, very dire straits. So, yeah, tune in next time, see what happens.